Zadok the Priest, or as my father used to misname it, Zodiac the King, is the second piece in the prom booklet. Apart from the national anthem, this opens the Jubilee prom concert and so should have great impact. Throughout the piece, be careful of the split parts. Always be certain you know which line you're on. As we're singing from photocopies, you might even use a highlighter for safety. Actually, most of the split parts are not real parts. Quite often, the second altos will be with the tenors, or the first basses will be with the tenors. So the extra number of parts doesn't provide the same levels of stress that it normally might do. My biggest concern for this piece is the end consonants. There are lots of S's and T's sung by the whole choir at the same time, and all of these need to be exactly together and on the beat. You know how much fuss I make about things like that. Check out the last bar of page 3, the ST of priest, and the second bar of page 4, the T on prophet. If these are not unanimous, it will spoil the impact. On the very first chord, put a T on the start of the word Zadok, like Zadok, which will give it a little extra edge without sounding eccentric. As loud as you like on the first 2 pages, but as you go over onto page 5, only forte there. You will see in the first bar of page 6 and the 5th of 7 that I've written in a dotted rhythm in some parts. This is what you're probably used to singing anyway. I forgot to write this in the alto 2s and tenors in bar 3, so please mark the same thing in on the beats 2 and 3. Dotted quaver and semi-quaver on every beat. Sorry for this omission. Again, the most important thing here will be unanimous consonants at the end of the word rejoiced. The st at the end of it comes 10 times, sometimes at the end of a crotchet and sometimes at the end of a minim. Please make every st sound strong and exactly in the right place. This movement is quite legato. Do not shorten any notes, even on rejoiced, so it'll be rejoiced, not rejoiced. At the end of this bit, watch out that, as marked, there is no break after the last time we sing the word rejoiced. We'll go straight on from page 7 to page 8. The bring off on the word said will be followed by only the upbeat to God Save the King. So, and said, God Save the King. So no hanging about at that point. Watch out for the dynamics in this one. If you don't come back for the MF sections, it will sound incredibly relentless and the FF bits won't be so exciting. Make sure that the word king is never held too long. A clear whole beat rest at the ends of bar 1, 2 and 3 and all similar places. At the foot of page 8, ignore the staccato markings, which will be nothing to do with Handel. All these amens and alleluias need to be pointed but not detached. Anyone who gets the big semi-quaver tune, so that's the basses from the end of page 8, the sopranos the end of page 10, altos and tenors on page 12, basses again on page 15, learn this well so you can watch me conducting rather than be looking at the music. It's very easy to get out of time in that section, and anyway, we want to hear plenty of those semi-quavers, so heads up will help. If possible, do these passages in one breath and crescendo towards the end as is marked. Meanwhile, all the accompanying quaver and quaver rests, every time they come, must be exactly as written, a full quaver sung, no more, no less. Page 9, the last note you sing, a full crotchet, please. This is one where you might well sing a quaver if you don't stop to think about it. On page 11, on the top line, full value again on the crotchets on men and live and live. On the last bar of page 12, the alto ones probably need to sing louder than MF so that the long notes come through. When we do this at the Minster, sometimes we've only got one alto on that part and it sounds a bit comic. The bottom of page 13, a full crotchet on man again, and then in all the 6 following phrases. Then at the very end, watch carefully for the slow up. Apart from the sops and second basses, anybody who wants to can sing the note belonging to the part above them in the last chord, which will give us maximum volume. Particularly the tenors go up to the alto F sharp, which you'll enjoy, and the first basses to the tenor D. This will give a richer chord, and we're not being very authentic, performing it with 20 times as many singers as Handel would have had, and a massive orchestra. So I think we can indulge ourselves there. You will see on the start page of this distance learning package that there are 2 videos of Zadok. The first is a video from the coronation with the full orchestra version we will be doing. You might have seen this before in one of the talks early on in lockdown. But for practicing, you'll probably be better off with the second one, sung by the 16 and with the music scrolling across the screen, but in this case with the authentic Baroque orchestra. Of course, you can use the John Fletcher site in the usual way. So that means we've now had a look in these sessions at everything in the prom booklet. There are still 2 pieces to look at for the prom: the Bainton and I Saw a New Heaven, which will come next week with a proper distance learning video with the 4 singers and Michael and everything else that you've come to expect. And then after that, for 7 weeks, we'll be looking at different sections of the music makers. So by about the end of November, we'll be ready for the end of November the following year. Well, not quite, but we'll still need to put it together, but we will have worked on everything for the prom concert. If we're still unable to sing together at that point, then of course we can have a think about what else we do in these distance learning sessions which seem to have been so popular. See you next time.